Mercedes needs a comeback and fast. After 2 years not competing for the title and a season without even so much as a win, the Silver Arrows are at risk of becoming also-rans rather than the title contenders of yesteryear. Well, in order to fix that, Mercedes have torn up everything they know about their car and are starting from scratch in 2024. But team principal Toto Wolff has given some hints as to what Mercedes will change. Mercedes awful 2023. Mercedes 2023 was just about as bad as it could get. Having unveiled a car that looked awfully similar to last year's, they were forced to go back to the drawing board when they realised just how uncompetitive it was. They may have ended the year in P2, but 451 points behind Red Bull is a long way from where Wolff expects his team to be, and even before 2023 was over, Mercedes were contemplating how they would fix it. The answer to that was to go back to the start. Wolff hints at 2024 plans. Now, it's no secret that Mercedes are planning a huge upheaval for their 2024 car. After 2 years of uncompetitiveness, the Silver Arrows have gone back to the drawing board, and over the winter, they hope to finalise the design that will take them back to the top. Of course, no team principal will be willing to give too much away, given anything they share could be used by their rivals, but Mercedes boss Wolff has hinted at just what to expect from the W15. Speaking to planetf1.com, Wolff said to expect a more conventional Mercedes car in 2024. He said, "I think we were bold and courageous to embark on the road with such a car. That was a different concept that nobody else had before, and it didn't work. I think it's as simple as that. It's physics and not mystics. Next year's car is going to be more conventional than what you would expect from a Formula 1 car, but there are a few interesting details that we have not seen on other cars yet." The Austrian was also bold in his assessment of their disastrous 2023 season, suggesting that every day they fail is a day their rivals should fear. He said, "Every year that's not easy is part of a learning curve that makes you better afterwards. I would have wished we would have competed for the World Championship, but that wasn't the case, so we're looking forward to next year. All sails are set for 2024. We take the learnings, and there's more analysis that we're doing, but it's about the new car, it's about the organisation. We knew that there will be a time when it's getting tougher. After 8 titles, that happened. The days we lose are the days our competitors regret, because we're learning the most, and this year's certainly been character building, and I hope stones are in place to be more competitive." Are Mercedes copying Red Bull? Wolff's hint at a more conventional Mercedes car raises an obvious question. Are they about to copy Red Bull? Clearly, the Milton Keynes team struck on the winning formula in 2022, and since then, we've seen plenty of other competitors create a similar concept to Red Bull's. For the time being though, Mercedes have resisted that urge. At the start of 2023, they stuck with their infamous zero-pod design, but even after they unveiled a B-spec car, it looked a little similar to Red Bull's RB19 but still had its differences. Having been at the top for so long, the idea of Mercedes copying anyone, let alone Red Bull, would presumably have hurt Wolff's ego, but he's actually hinted at the opposite already. Speaking in March and after Mercedes' disastrous pre-season testing results, Wolff said he would have no issue copying Red Bull provided it produces a better car. The Mercedes boss said, "I think at this stage we have no dogmatism of how the car should look like, it just needs to be the quickest possible race car. And if that car looks like a Red Bull or like SpaceX, I don't care, it just needs to be quick. And if it's a Red Bull, we'll put a little bull somewhere with a sticker and I'll have no shame if it's quick." What would Red Bull's reaction be? Considering Red Bull's head start they have when it comes to car design, Wolff admitting they'd be happy to copy Red Bull would no doubt put a huge grin on Christian Horner's face. It's a situation we've seen before, of course. In April 2022, Dan Fallows left his engineer role at Red Bull to become Aston Martin technical director, so there were a few eyebrows raised when Aston unveiled a car this season that looked awfully similar to Red Bull's. It didn't go unnoticed by Red Bull either, with the team drinking from green Red Bull cans during the previous season, and Horner joking imitation was the biggest form of flattery. Horner said of Aston's improvement, "I think it demonstrates to all the team that it's possible. They've obviously done a good job over the winter. They say imitation is the biggest form of flattery, and it's good to see the old card going so well." It's flattering to see the resemblance of that car to ours, so it was great to see the three of them on the podium. It was a joke that even Sergio Perez got in on, with the Mexican saying that 3 Red Bull cars had finished on the podium when he joined Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso. Given that was Horner's reaction to a team like Aston doing that, we can only imagine what he would say if Mercedes decided to copy him. Mercedes chief warns of F1 history. Toto Wolff is not the only Mercedes higher-up who's been speaking about their 2024 plans, but one man who's perhaps a little bit more pessimistic is technical director James Allison. Having masterminded Mercedes' previous success, Allison returned to the role earlier this year, but has admitted no team has ever been able to turn things around in such a short space of time. Allison said, "If you look at the long march of F1 history, then the stats are against us. Teams do not bounce back from slipping from their previous peak in the length of time that we set ourselves. But we've nevertheless set a pretty ambitious program. We have quite a lot of strength and depth here, and we made quite a lot of progress with next year's car. Whether it proves sufficient or not, only time will tell. But that's what I'm hoping for, and I know that all my colleagues and teammates around me will be hoping for the same." What would a successful 2024 be for Mercedes? As to what constitutes success for Mercedes in 2024, Allison also made that clear. It was championships or bust. When asked if Mercedes will be back to winning ways in 2024, he said, "I don't know is the answer to that." He replied when asked if Mercedes will be back to winning ways in 2024. "I hope that we put in place enough of a program of work that we've put ourselves in with a shout to be back. I mean, winning ways, does that mean winning a race? Does that mean winning a championship? In my head, it's only ever about championships. That's what Formula 1 is. It's a constructors and drivers championship. So I hope we'll have done enough to give ourselves a shout of being in a championship fight in both championships." Well, it could be argued that Mercedes stands on the edge of one of the most important decisions in their F1 history. Many winning constructors have seen themselves fall from the peak, but only a few have managed to climb back up the mountain. If 2022 was assumed to be a blip, 2023 suggested it was actually a worrying trend, and a third year could prove to be terminal to the brand of Mercedes. There's never been more pressure on Mercedes team than there is right now, but only time will tell if they survive. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and make sure you leave a comment telling us whether you think Mercedes will be back on top in 2024, and if not, where do you think Mercedes will finish the season? In the meantime, be sure to hit that like button and also click subscribe so you never miss a video here on the DRS Straight.